Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sukhadevi Pranamami Hari Priya. So as Prabhuji was mentioning, Wednesday is Radhastami. Radhastami. And very interesting cultural significance. Trying to understand the absolute truths, Krishna consciousness. So there's one very nice song that Prabhupada wrote when he was traveling from India to the United States. KK Songs, that's the first index. So it's a very nice website, KK Songs, and you can find the first line and so many songs. Very nice. This is very nice again song that Prabhupada wrote on the Jaladuta when he was coming to the West, and of course it's such a challenge at his age, with such physical stress. And it wasn't that big of a boat, and the oceans, of course, in the Atlantic Ocean, not ready to be coming. Do you know how big Christopher Columbus's ships were? Maybe about twice the size of this room. Would you like to cross the Atlantic Ocean in a boat that big? Yeah. But he was still Prabhupada, and of course it was such a challenge. I think he had 1, 2 heart attacks on the way coming here. And he had this dream that all the avatars were pulling the boat. Such we're gonna do this. And he was coming, and when he arrived here, of course, he didn't know what was going to happen. He understand he bought a bag of cereal because he thought there would be nothing to eat but meat in the whole country like that. And if you look at the first canto, there's not much Sanskrit in it. Very little Sanskrit. Probably wrote that before he came. And then his assessment was, okay, these people don't all just eat meat, and there's also good understanding, ability to comprehend Sanskrit. So he was understanding the environment and how to present things like that. So this is a very nice song. We should sing a little bit of it. Krishna Taba Punyaha Bye Bye. 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 Hey Punya Koribe Jabe Radharani Sukhe Habe Vivata Boli Tomatai. Punya Koribe Jabe Radharani Sukhe Habe Vivata Boli Tomatai. Siddhanta Saraswati Sashi Sutta Priyati Krishna se boy Garjulana. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachi Sutta Priyati Krishna se boy Garjulana. Say Mohanta Guru Jagater Madeu Krishna Bhakti Deyatai. Vishnu Ram. Krishna Tava Punya Have Nanda hoy, Tabe hoy, Gegu joy, Chaitanya Kripa Tisan. Nanda hoy, Gegu joy, Chaitanya Kripa Tisan. Maya dushta jata duke, jagate sabai sukti. Vaishnavaya Magite Chiyanu Rupa Ajikuma Savar Pravi. Kumara Sai Sakte Tairai Guru Sai Boy Bastu Mile Ram Sata Kadi Stay go pointing, Sahadai Suki Hoile, Abhisanga Bangate So it goes on for quite a few more verses, and Prabhupada didn't compose many songs or things like that, which you can see he was quite competent in doing it, because that wasn't his what's the word? He was aegis. That wasn't his job. He was assigned to what was it, Paschatya Desha Tarvini. So he focused on that. And when the devotee did publish a little book, very beautifully, of songs and poems that Prabhupada had composed, and such beautiful poetry. Some translation. Oh brothers, the Supreme Lord Krishna will bestow virtue upon you, but he will do this only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. This I surely declare to you. Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who was very dear to Lord Gauranga, the son of Mother Sachi, is unparalleled in his service to the Supreme Lord of Sri Krishna. He is that great saintly spiritual master, most magnanimous within this universe, who bestows devotion to Krishna in various places throughout the world. His desire is very powerful, and thus he is causing the holy name of Lord Gauranga to spread throughout all the countries of the Western world, in all the cities, towns, and villages on the earth, extending to all the oceans, rivers, and streams. Everyone may chant the holy names of Krishna and Rama. Thus all directions will be conquered by a flood of transcendental ecstasy, flowing with the excessive mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When all the miserable living entities have been corrupted by Maya, become happy when the Vaishnava's desire is fulfilled. So Prabhupada goes on with very, very esoteric descriptions of his activities and talking about, I had a very, very nice remembrance of you, Krishna, this morning, running in the fields, playing in the morning with the cows and the calves and so on. So he's presenting, he wrote this song, very, very esoteric, very internal consciousness about who we are and what is life and what is reality. But of course, many, many people, it's not, what's the word? This is not accessible right away. How can you talk about these things? It's a very confidential festival in some ways. This is a very nice book if you haven't got it. Srimad, Nectar of Instruction. Prabhupada says it constitutes first instructions for neophyte devotees. How many neophyte devotees here? Okay, this is a very nice book. So the preface, he says here, the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas, or Bengali Vaishnavas, are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung, Rupa Raghunatha Pare, Oi Vayaputi, Kabihama Bhujavose, Yuvala Piriti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So from the very beginning, Prabhupada was making this accessible to people. I was thinking this book was especially just for devotees. And then I read one conversation where one devotee suggested that, Prabhupada, this is for devotees. And Prabhupada said, no, it's for everybody. There should be one copy in every house in the world. Okay? So he starts off with how to control your senses. Well, it goes in 11 verses to Radha Kund and all these kind of things, so very quick. But it's like a summary. It's like looking at everything we're talking about. And I've seen, traveling all over the world, some people, the very first verse is, challenging. Other people from very, very purified Catholic traditions, they can appreciate, Radha, Krishna. In our tradition, we have Lakshmi and Narayan, right? This conjugal idea, conjugal love of God. And then we've got the Pushti Maharaj, right? Who's the greatest devotee in Pushti Maharaj? Yashoda. Okay, and you say Radha. Okay. So who loves Krishna more? His mommy or his girlfriend? that's what we're fighting about. Forget Lakshmi and Narayan, forget Sita Ram. They're expansions, they're pastimes. What to speak of atoms and molecules? So many, many people on different levels and understanding how to talk with them, how to approach them. Okay, when I'm eager to understand, when I can understand Radha and Krishna by taking advantage of those 6 Goswamis and the books they left us. What books has Srila Prabhupada given us by Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami? Yeah, Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and all the purports. All the purports are coming from Sridhar Swami, Bhakti Siddhanta, Jiva Goswami. So he's given us all these things to understand. But we have to be eager, enthusiastic to study them. And enthusiasm, he defines that here, what it is. Enthusiasm is action executed in Krishna consciousness with intelligence. So when we're reading, you can just read mechanically, like that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Prabhupada says a cat can, a parrot can chant Hare Krishna, right? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But at the time of death, he'll chant, cat. Yeah. So, are we just chanting with our lips? And are we even doing that and pronouncing properly? One devotee was chanting out his rounds every day, and then he died and went to heaven. And there was a very, very ugly, distorted deity of Krishna there. He said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm." And you've been calling me every day for the last 30 years. Now you can stay with me forever. So the first thing is, you're making a deity out of sound when you're chanting. In Jaiva Dharma, some mullahs, some Muslims, they come to challenge a Vaishnava Baba in Navadvip, and they say, Allah, God is offended when you make a statue of him and worship that. So the Bhakti Vinod Thakur in his book, the Babaji says, well, the name Allah is sacred, is it not? It is. Okay, but that's still a material element. Sound is still a material element. And so if you make it out of sound, or you make it out of clay, or whatever you do, it's still material elements. So the Buddha's come back to the Quran some more, defeated. I've actually used that one time specifically. It had exactly the same effect that people So yeah, when we're chanting, we're making a deity out of sound. Okay. Yeah. So we should pronounce clearly. There should be some effect there. Okay, that's the activity. And then our mind should be on the mantra. We can be chanting and thinking about so many other things. Thinking about this, thinking about that. No, make the mind focus on the mantra. Yad Vinam, among all the yadus I am. Don't be surprised if it's not easy. Even just forcing yourself to sit with the bees and move them and feel them is a whole endeavor, whole effort. Okay, so Prabhupada established 16 rounds, 4 principles strictly. That's sufficient. If you do that, then automatically everything else will follow. You're not going to chant 16 nice rounds unless you're getting up early in the morning. You may have noticed the mode of passion starts about 10 o'clock normally in a healthy society. All the banks open, all the businesses open, everybody's aiming on thinking about this, obtaining that, doing everything else. This is all in the mind, goals, objectives. Then at 6 o'clock, the bank's closed and the businessman is miserable. I could have made more money if I had a few more minutes. But what happens at 6 o'clock? It's the happy hour. Not for the business guy. For the fools. Now it's half-price alcohol. Half-price alcohol. So that starts from 6 o'clock until basically about 2 o'clock. Alcohol sales are registered by state. Actually, it's even some places registered by controlled by regulated by county. And so if you look at it, many places it used to be 12 o'clock, but now they push it until 2 o'clock. Okay, 24 hours, 8 hours, the mode of ignorance increasing. And then when they're when they're all going to bed and all passing out. I've actually traveled around the world. Sometimes we're starting to get up and go to the temple. All these guys are stumbling out of the bars and going to fall asleep and stuff. Just night and day. So then for a devotee from 2 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning, it's the mode of goodness. And that's the time to cultivate your perspective, your attitude, and your understanding, and your bhava. How do you say International Society for Krishna Consciousness in Hindi? Yeah, Antarashtrika, Antarashtrika Shri Krishna, Bhavanamrita Sangha. So when he says consciousness, that's what he's talking about. It's a very scientific term, Bhavanamrita. So here Prabhupada is making his point very clearly, okay, when we start to become eager, enthusiastic, and we bring some intelligence in our activities, then we can understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. So he goes on, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society. Why did he appear? He appeared to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. So Prabhupada used that term so many times, the science of this, the science of that. One time it was very, very nice in Bhagavad Gita class in Los Angeles. Maybe about 20 devotees there, some sannyasis and other people. And Amitabha, who's a South Indian Brahmin devotee, he's been a devotee, Prabhupada disciple. But he was talking about, I think it's Ramanuja Sampradaya, and it wasn't Ramanuja himself, it was a very prominent Acharya, a few generations afterwards. And he gave a description of what this word Samstapaka Acharya, founder Acharya, means. There were like some 5 or 6 things you had to accomplish to be considered Samstapaka Acharya. So not just a whimsical title, Bhakti Siddhanta was investigating all these things and using these things to establish our movement in this sense. So I can't remember all of them, but Prabhupada satisfied every single one of them. 2 of them I remember. One was that you have to defeat every single philosophy contrary to Vaishnavism prominent at your time. So now the most prominent philosophy in the world, of course, is science. Everybody believes in science, and medical science, military science, whatever you got, everything like that, and so on. And so Prabhupada was very enthusiastic to talk about science. And many times when he's walking, he would talk about the rascal scientists. The rascal scientists. But yeah, he made a distinction between the rascal scientists and the good scientists, and so on. Rascal science, even scientists made a distinction between rascal science and good science, and bad science. And so very prominent. So Prabhupada's trying to explain that this is a science. It's a systematic body of knowledge. It relies upon using your senses and direct perception. It relies upon using your intelligence, focusing your mind. But then it goes beyond that, beyond the direct perception, chanting properly with your tongue and your fingers. Goes beyond is focusing your mind to your understanding. You can read the book. To be or not to be, that is the question. Why should you pay $150 to go here, should John Beale to go to Richard Burton and say that line? But people do. They do, because everybody's waiting in Hamlet until he says that line. To be or not to be? That is the question. To take arms against a sea of Kauravas, to oppose them. Very, very powerful. Prabhupada said you can teach Shakespeare in Gurukula. If you want to understand word power, read Shakespeare. Gopi Pranadana told me one time in London, there was an evening program with some people there, and Prabhupada told me the entire story of the Merchant of Venice. Very, very powerful play by Shakespeare. With great enthusiasm, he told the whole thing. Then Gopi Pranadana said later on he found a Bengali translation. It was called, Venetia Vanik. Venetia Vanik. Trying to translate Shakespeare in any language is a big challenge. So Prabhupada's trying to tell us, he's telling, of course, not just chanting, focusing your mind, but you also have to have a certain meaning, a certain bhava, a certain perspective, a certain understanding. Prabhupada tells the story in the one purport that there were 2 dacoit guys sitting by the side of the road, and they had been harassing people, getting some money, and they were sitting there drinking from their bottle of wine, cheap wine, Gallo or something. And then the Vaishnava went by chanting Radhe Radhe. So one of these dacoit guys says to the other between drinks, I like it very much when the Vaishnavas go by chanting Radhe Radhe. And then the other guy says, well, why is that? You're not a religious person? And he says, yes, but the barber's wife is named Radhe. And I was thinking when I could get a little time with her. So you're chanting Hare Krishna, what do you mean? What do you mean? I wish I could go back to bed, I wish I could go back to bed, I wish I could go back to bed, I wish I could go back to bed. Or you nothing. Or is it just what is it? What do you mean? Right? So we have so many books. All these books are Prabhupada's japa. You're sitting there in a confidential moment, chanting, reading, we have thousands of pages, tens of thousands of pages of Prabhupada's association. When Prabhupada came to San Francisco in 1975, the Rath Yatra happened to be there, I was maybe 1,147th son. Prabhupada already initiated so many disciples. And when he was there, a couple things happened, very memorable experiences. I was cooking the Shringar Bhoga offering, 7 o'clock, and before that you have halava and some fruits like that and so on. And so anyway, I was in the kitchen cooking away in my apron, and Prabhupada was in the temple room lecturing. And we just bought the place at that time. It was a whole new endeavor. So interesting, the history of developing temples. It's a whole new topic. So the process was that after the lecture was Guru Puja. Guru Puja was after the lecture, after the morning class. And then when the Kirtan was going on, Prabhupada would pass out cookies to the children, and extra ones he would throw out. So the big tray of cookies was sitting there in the kitchen, the Guru Puja had finished, and the devotees were chanting, and nobody had come for them, and I was thinking, I should take these out and stuff, you know. And maybe this was the second time that actually seen Prabhupada. So I went out there, you know, I had my apron on, everything else, and everybody was chanting, Prabhupada. So I was getting closer and closer, and suddenly Tamal Krishna Maharaj pushed me. So we all have responsibilities to our older godbrother. He pushed me, and suddenly I was right in front of Prabhupada, looking at, afraid fire would come from his eyes and he would consume me or something. Oh, you're stealing Mahaprasadam. I think he was a little bit bewildered that this person coming in front of him with an apron on and something, you know. So, yeah. But also when he was there, one reporter, this is actually when Prabhupada, maybe he was doing a press conference, one reporter asked him, he said, Swamiji, what will happen to your movement when you die? Very nice question. And what did Prabhupada say? He said, I will never die. I will live forever in my books. Very firmly like that. And so there's so many stories that people have in this personal contact. Bhakti Vrinda Maharaj was in India, maybe like about 10 years ago now. And he had to get his visa renewed, right? It was in Vrindavan temple. And so, of course, this is a process. In Indian bureaucracy 10 years ago, this is a process extending over thousands of lifetimes. So he went to Delhi. I don't know where he went from Chanakpur or whatever it is, and he found the building, and it was a building, built during the British Raj, and he went through there asking people, and finally, after being sent to the wrong place 3 times, he finally found the room where he was supposed to go. And he went in, there was all these people working at their desks, and papers piled up, from hundreds of years and whatever. So finally, I directed him to one boy, and the guy was working on things, and he looked up and he saw him with Dodi and Kirk. He said, well, yes, what is it? He said, well, I'm an American, and I've been here this time, and I want to renew my visa. He said, well, okay, please sit down. And then he asked him, do you have a bank account, and all these kind of things, this form, that form, and everything else. So Maharaj was thinking, my gosh, this is going to take days, to go and get all these things taken care of and stand in different lines. And the young man was thinking, well, okay, I'll help you, come with me. So he locked his desk up and took Maharaj to this office, and he went up these back stairs that were falling apart, be careful. And he made people stop their work and take care of everything. So basically within 45 minutes, everything was finished. He went back to the desk. And the boy's finishing off, this is a true story, it was 10 years ago, finishing off the paperwork. And he said, the reason I'm helping you is because, I was so miserable. 1 year ago, who am I, what is life, what am I supposed to do? And he said, but then I got, and he pulled out Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. And he said, I started reading this book by H.H. Hanumat Swami, Prabhupada, and now everything is just so clear and so nice. And so I was thinking, here's one of H.H. Hanumat Swami's disciples and stuff, and how can I not help him and stuff, And he said, do you think if I wrote to Prabhupada he would answer? 10 years ago. Do you think if I wrote to Prabhupada he would answer? And so I said, tell him in 1977, Prabhupada of his body. It's like somebody walking in and saying, Prabhu, you're in. I'm sorry to tell you your parents are dead. It was not an accident. Even just to hear that was just like, it's just terrible. The boy started crying, completely crying and stuff like that. So Prabhupada is living in his books. But it takes this desire to do something, desire to serve, right? It's a little bit of an attitude. Arjuna had many, many doubts after initiation. Sisyas teham sarimam tvam prapanam. I'm surrendered to you, please instruct me. But he had many doubts, but they weren't artificial doubts. Right? That's all we're agreeing at first initiation is to listen And as long as you go on answering my questions, I'm obligated, I'll obligate myself to go on and ask proper questions. Many people are looking for God, but most people hope we don't find Him. Right? Many people are looking for God, but most people hope we don't find Him. My friend Bharat, he had a dream, and he made a very, very nice sandwich on homemade bread with avocados and sprouts and cheese. And he put it up on his altar to offer to Krishna. Now, he was offering thing. He heard something. He looked up in his dream, and there was Krishna. And Krishna was looking at the sandwich, and he said, "Oh, Bharata, is this for me?" And he was thinking, "Oh my God, Krishna really came. He's going to eat my sandwich." He woke up. So, in the beginning, we're very, very salty. But this is not what it says that. We're very materialistic, very different things. But somehow or other, that's the whole question too, we have a little bit of a doshrada, preliminary faith, and so we're chanting that way. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. You know, the attitude of praying to Krishna, praying to Radha. And so, like it says in this the song here, Prabhupada is saying, Krishna Tabam Punya Havevaya. Oh brothers, I declare emphatically you will only obtain your good fortune if Srimati Radharani is pleased with you. So it's a very, very important festival, but it's a little bit confidential. Because in the beginning we're just approaching God out of fear, out of desires and these things. And so, it's a very, very, it's a rude way to approach somebody and just look at them as an object for our gifts. Chanikya Pandit says, anybody who thinks he's a friend of the king is a fool. The king has no friends. We can translate that to ISKCON and say, anybody who thinks he's a friend of the temple president is a fool. The temple president has no friends. He says, as soon as you adopt that position, everybody, even your own wife, is looking at you, Prabhu! And so you have to be, cool with everybody, neutral. It's a challenge. I know one devotee had to quit the job because his wife wasn't a chef. And anybody would come to her, why did you have my husband use this and that? Can you talk to your husband about this and that? Shutting her up. So this is our position. We're approaching Krishna in the beginning in a very, very impersonal sense. Some people, of course, believe there is no God. All these names are just, things for weak-minded people to use and different things like that. And somebody may believe there is God, but they have no real distinction. Prabhupada says impersonal Vishnu. Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. Shiva, Brahma, and impersonal Vishnu. Shiva Dakshay Vishnu, Brahma Dakshay Vishnu. There's no personal relationship. You want knowledge, you want these things, whatever. It's not a person. You're just approaching like a machine. You put some money in and get some result. But there's something there. Prabhupada said this is better than going to scientific work. You're approaching God for these things. You want some result. But then as we go on, then we begin to realize personal relationship. Krishna's mercy is the first thing. That's his most powerful energy is his mercy. Krishna's creative potency is very powerful. Durga is very powerful. But Radharani is more powerful. And of all Krishna's qualities, his desire to be merciful to the fallen souls is the most powerful. So we're very fortunate. But we have to help, right? We have to help. And help Srimati Radharani. So very, very nice festival. And today we're giving a little bit of a summary. There's so many nice things to read and understand and enhance our chanting and so on. If we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, it will enhance our understanding and ability to chant more and more like that. So very auspicious day, Radha-Astami festival. And of course every day we're praying to Radha. One lecture in London on Radha-Astami, and Prabhupada is chanting Radha Stala, Radhe Jaya Jaya Mola Gurvaika, Radhe Jaya Jaya Mola Gurvaika. It's all by Rupa Goswami, very nice song to study. But it finishes off and it says, Sanata Sanatana Varita Charita. And then Prabhupada says, somebody may say, oh, Rupa Goswami, you're a big vidwan, you're a great scholar. Why are you glorifying some village girl? Some village girl. Oh my gosh. And he's saying, oh, she's not ordinary village girl. Sanatan Sanatana, the most erudite people in the universe are glorifying her. They want to be like her. And he goes on and he says, Radhe, Hare, no difference. Yeah, chanting Radhe, 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 Radhe. This is Hare. It's just the same as chanting Radhe, Radhe. So every day we're chanting. What's the meaning? What's the meaning? Are we chanting for the barber's wife, or chanting because we want to go back to bed, or what are we meaning? What are we meaning? And we can do that. We can read prayers. Prabhupada told Guru Kripa, I heard, I directly read, that you can chant in the mood of the Shikshastaka. So you can chant the Shikshastaka, 8 verses by Lord Chaitanya, and you can chant in the mood of Ainanda. So specifically when purport, Prabhupada says we can chant this mood, Ainanda Tanjakin Karam Patitamam Vishane Bhavam Budam. You can do this sadhana. Oh Krishna, I'm falling into this ocean of material existence. Somehow or other pick me up and place me as Adam as that's what your Lord is free. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, you can read and understand. And whatever progress you make in this life is eternal. Yeah, it's eternal. You haven't got to keep rebuilding it every day. Well, Maya comes and dumps stuff on you, but every day it's getting better. We're going down a river on a very, very nice log, and we're thinking, oh, how nice, there's some honey here, there's some fruits on this tree. This is a body, human body. Oh, so many nice things. And someone is yelling at us to come to church on Sunday or go to the temple or give a donation. Why should I? I have my body, I can enjoy life. They're trying to tell us that there's a waterfall, 600-foot waterfall up ahead there, extremely nice. Oh, take the rope, take the rope. That's diction. Okay, so we let go of the log, and now we're holding on to the rope. You better be sure the rope is tight. So in the beginning, waves come and we go under, but now you got a rope. I got to chant my rounds. This guru falls down, this society goes on, this happens, that happens. I've got to do a Prabhupada once. I've got to chant my rounds and follow principles. And that takes you right through. It takes you through these problems, so many problems. And as we go on, every time we go under, we begin to feel the ground under our feet. We begin to push, right? And at some point, we come over halfway out of the water. The current's still strong, but now we're halfway out of the water. We never go under anymore. Brahma-bhuta. I've seen this. Through Niskanda Modi, Pujari. 24 hours a day, you're serving Krishna, serving the deities. And so you're always doing it like that. So today is a very, very nice day to start serving Radha. You can memorize Radha's stava. You can memorize the prayer to her in Brahma Samhita. There's a whole section of prayers by Radharani and Rathayatra. So many nice things. And chanting, very pretty. So very auspicious day. So we're very happy to be here with Sangha. We come here about every 5 years. I remember I was sleeping on the couch last time. I was like 140 or something. Somebody gave me Tylenol and said, take rest. So we'll be here a couple days. We're on our way to Madrid, Radhanandan Swami, and then we'll go to India and stay in Radhakrishna College. So any quite Krishna, Yes, sir.
Maharaj, thank you for coming and wonderful class and wonderful instructions.
Thank you for being here, wonderful audience. Actually, you're making the words come out of my mouth.
Maharaj, so I know we need to please Srimati Radharani, and of course if we do the devotional service she will be pleased. What is the special or what is that something extra we can do to please Srimati Radharani?
Oh my God, okay. But it was something special, we can do something extra. These questions always depend upon time, place, and person, time, place, and circumstance. For some person, it's chanting Hare Krishna between each puff on your cigarette. I directly told one person to do that. He wanted to stop smoking. Okay, chant one Maha Mantra, and it started working. He started giving up smoking. But then he realized that he shouldn't stop smoking because he had so much psychopathic anger that the cigarette was keeping him. So take a while. So different people are on different levels. You know, the gopis, the manjaris, they want to please Radharani, right? But they're at a whole different level than we are. So it depends on understanding our level of development. You know, talking to devotees, reading all those books. You know, Guru Sadhana, God, the Brahmins, and Vedic scriptures. And Prabhupada's books, association of devotees, and then chanting Hare Krishna. You do those things and you get good intelligence about what to do, what you can do. Everybody's different. Of course, in this age, Radharani was incarnated with Lord Chaitanya, with her humor. And this thing is, we can, following the preface here, we can qualify ourselves by studying the literature left of the six Goswamis, all those books, to help Lord Chaitanya in his mission of giving the science of Krishna consciousness to the fallen souls. So understanding scientifically, right? Yeah. And also the ultimate aspect is science, but it's a science with unlimited feeling. Yes, sir.
So Maharaj,
Present? Something else.
so sometimes we hear that the only way to approach Krishna is through Balaram, from Guru Tattva, right? Balaram is through his mercy we can approach Krishna. Sometimes we hear the only way to approach Krishna is through Radharani and get Radharani's mercy, right? We cannot approach direct. How do we reconcile some of these different ways?
The book was asking sometimes we hear you want to go through Radha, sometimes you want to go through Balaram. One purport problem is saying that in Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, the Guru is either representing Radharani or Balaram. So you're out driving, showing up with your license, a young man, maybe like street legal at 16, you're starting to drive a car around your father's car. And you're showing off in front of your friends a little bit, and you smash it right into the telephone pole. And nobody's really hurt, but the car's going to require a lot of work. And so you go back to your house, and okay, you're just terrified to approach your father, Supreme Krishna. So you can go to your mother, right? You say, Mom, I just did this and that. So mother's love is unconditional, right? So she always loves you. What are you going to push her before she rejects you? But it's also like that. It's just, she just, no matter what. If you go to your uncle and tell him what you really did, and say, oh, you moron, say, okay, I'll go with you to your father and we'll talk about this. But you got to do this and this, and take care of this and that, and stuff. You got to pay it off. So yeah, that's Balaram. Balaram is Guru in the sense that he makes a practical thing, helping us, and this kind of thing. So his love is conditional. In the sense that he expects us to do our part and so forth and so on. So we need both. We chant Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. Notice the word in there most is Hare, but sometimes with Krishna, sometimes with Rama. So it's a development thing. We need both. Prabhupada says, he's Guru, right? He's in the word Nityananda, and he says you're only going to get your mercy when Krishna Mother Radharani is pleased with you. So we approach him, and we're going to be going to approach Radha. Otherwise, it's too frightening. I'm German. Everything on time. Class will start at 6 o'clock. Exactly.
Alright, so we like to thank His Holiness Hanumat Presaka Swami for coming. could be here with us on Radhashmi. We wish you could be here with us on Radhashmi.
No,
And
who
he's,
knows what's going to happen?
yes.
Could we start a nuclear war and all these
Well, if not this year, maybe some other year. Anyway, but we're really grateful that Maharaj came here to give us the association, and hope that he comes back again very, very soon.